Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving straight into an absolute classic. We're opening up Napoleon Hill's masterwork to unlock the legendary success secret of Andrew Carnegie. We're going to break down the exact hidden framework that was literally used to build some of the most massive fortunes in history. Now, this isn't just some book you passively read on a Sunday afternoon. The source explicitly states it's designed as a manual for achievement, meant to transform anyone who is truly ready to absorb its concepts. It actually demands that you not only read, but study, digest, and intensely meditate upon these principles.
And, there's a very good reason for that. Napoleon Hill didn't just guess here. He spent over 25 years meticulously analyzing more than 500 men of immense wealth. We're talking titans of industry who started from absolute scratch with nothing but thoughts and ideas. He wanted to distill one unyielding truth about how riches are actually acquired in the real world.
To put the sheer magnitude of that into perspective, the text estimates that this monumental research effort would cost at least $100,000 to duplicate today. It's a massive undertaking. But hey, we're going to decode its core playbook for you right now, saving you all that time and money.
All right, let's get into Section 1, stopping 3 feet short versus burning bridges.
You see, the most common cause of failure is the tragic habit of quitting the second you're hit with temporary defeat. And we have two incredible stories that perfectly illustrate this divide. On one side, there's R.U. Darby. He caught gold fever, actually struck a rich vein, but the moment it temporarily dried up, he just quit. He sold all his machinery to a junk man for a few $100. Well, that junk man was smart. He hired an engineer and found the gold just 3 feet from where Darby had stopped drilling. Literally 3 feet. On the flip side, we have Edwin C. Barnes, who staked his entire future on one singular massive goal, becoming Thomas Edison's business partner. Barnes actually hopped on a freight train to get there. He looked like a total tramp when he showed up at Edison's office. But his thoughts? His thoughts were those of a king. He happily accepted a menial minimum wage-style job for 5 whole years. Why? Because he was burning all his bridges of retreat. He left himself absolutely no possible way out. He had no choice but to win or perish. And you guessed it, eventually he got that exact partnership.
So I want you to stop and ask yourself right now, where in your own life are you stopping 3 feet short? Are you abandoning your own goals right before your major breakthrough, just like Darby did? Or are you burning your ships and committing completely, just like Barnes?
Which brings us to Section 2, the power of burning desire. The fundamental difference between just wishing for success and actually achieving it is an all-consuming obsession. The source calls it a burning desire. To really understand the sheer power of this, Darby later recalled a striking moment at his uncle's farm. A small, seemingly powerless child, the daughter of a tenant farmer, walked right up and confronted Darby's fierce, wildly intimidating uncle to demand 50 cents her mother was owed. Now, the uncle literally threatened her with a barrel stave, but the child just stepped forward, looked him dead in the eyes, and screamed with absolute, unrelenting defiance, "My mammy's gotta have that 50 cents. And unbelievably, the fully grown adult with a weapon actually backed down and paid her. That visualization of pure, unadulterated defiance completely shifted Darby's mindset and later drove him to sell millions in life insurance. And this exact same unyielding state of mind applies to the titans of industry too. It's what drove Marshall Field to stay and rebuild his massive retail empire from the ashes of the Great Chicago Fire while everyone else was fleeing. It forced Henry Ford's engineers to finally produce a V8 engine block cast in one piece, something they swore up and down was utterly impossible. And it kept Thomas Edison going through 10,000 failures to perfect the electric lamp. Basically, practical dreamers simply do not quit. All right, let's break down Section 3, 6 Steps to Riches. So here is the exact pragmatic playbook Andrew Carnegie used and Thomas Edison approved. But before we hit the steps, you've got to understand the overall objective here. The goal is to develop what's called money consciousness. You are quite literally rewiring your brain from a failure consciousness to an expectation of absolute success. You have to be able to see yourself already in possession of the money long before you actually have it in your bank account. Let's dive into the core playbook and see how this actually builds. Step 1. You have to fix the exact amount of money in your mind. Be incredibly definite. Step 2. Determine exactly what you're going to give in return. Because, let's be real, there is no such thing as something for nothing. Step 3. Establish a definite date to possess it. Step 4.
Create a definite plan and begin at once, whether you feel ready or not. Step 5, write this all out in a clear, concise statement. And finally, step 6, and this is absolutely the most critical part, read that statement aloud, twice daily. And as you read it, you must specifically feel and believe the reality of your goal.
Moving on to Section 4, Faith and the Subconscious.
Because to truly lock in those 6 steps, just reading them isn't enough. You have to mix your desire with faith, which acts as the psychological catalyst to translate your thoughts into physical reality. And we know this works. The source material features endorsements from massive historical figures, like former U.S. President William Howard Taft, who praised it as a splendid common-sense philosophy. But honestly, the most undeniable, deeply personal proof comes from how Napoleon Hill used these very principles to help his own son, Blair.
Blair was born entirely without physical ears or natural hearing equipment. Doctors said he would be a deaf mute for life, but Hill flat out refused to accept nature's error as a final reality. He decided, in secret, that his son would hear and speak. So, he instilled in the boy a burning desire to hear, relentlessly framing his affliction through bedtime stories not as a lifelong liability, but as a unique advantage. He told him it would make people treat him with special kindness and actually give him a massive leg up in the business world.
And just watch how this belief literally manifested into reality. Because Blair deeply believed his father's positive affirmations, he grew up incredibly resourceful. At just 7 years old, he snuck out, borrowed 6 cents, bought newspapers, and sold them for a profit, showing amazing self-reliance. Then, by his last week of college, he tested a brand new electrical hearing aid and, for the first time ever, experienced normal sound. His lifelong desire became reality. He then researched and created a 2-year plan to take this life-changing technology to the world, dedicating his entire career to serving millions of hard-of-hearing individuals.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this. Faith is a state of mind that you can voluntarily create through repeated affirmations to your subconscious, what the text calls autosuggestion. Blair's story is the ultimate proof that faith, when mixed with persistent positive affirmation, can literally command nature, bridge the gap of physical limitations, and create a direct, undeniable path to success.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to really chew on. Think about everything we've covered today. Are you going to keep retreating 3 feet from your goal every time you hit a temporary defeat? Or will you use this secret framework, develop a burning obsession, burn your ships, and finally claim what is rightfully yours? The playbook is right here. The choice? Well, that's entirely up to you.